This time I come with Civic. See? Civic! There you go. Civic time. Well, certainly the other one, the Civic gets quicker, faster, which it does. So if I need to accelerate, it's brilliant for that. I put 25 quid more of diesel in there, topped it up to above the level of full. So good. That'll be fine for a few weeks, yeah. Indeed. That'll be fine. Oh, there's this one down there with a dog. Ugh. Bit dozy, to say the least. You come up here, and I waited there because I was behind her. I waited basically where my car is, but facing this way, thinking she was going to reverse around and come and park. No, she decided to just stay there. And so I had to come around here and try and reverse around there, trying not to hit her car. I said to God, hopefully she gets stuck. I think it's a four-wheel drive, that thing. Yeah, I don't know. But the problem is she could easily get stuck there, and it's a rather stupid place to go because of the fact it's thick mud. Yeah, that's what it is. Rather silly. Anyway, the point to the video this time. This one is... Good point. Oh, yes. Be a seeker of truth. Don't be a seeker of... peace. Don't be a seeker of... I don't mean peace in that way. You know, peace is in God's peace, yes. Man's peace, no. You know, don't be a seeker of being encouraging and nice and the way the church is, basically. You know, not saying anything that can ever be counted as offensive or anything like that. Just be a seeker of truth. Be a speaker of truth. Be a seeker of truth. Finder of truth, speaker of truth, that sort of thing. Yeah, be a lover of the truth. That's it. Just search for that. That's what matters. There's no good saying, oh, but the Bible's true. Yeah, but it depends on how you read it. It depends on how you interpret it. If you interpret it in a certain way, like pastor of that church, him saying about Peter and the Lord speaking to Peter and asking 3 times, do you love me? Depends upon how you interpret that as to whether it's truth, right? Yeah, the pastor believes through his understanding, through Bible college, and through his teachers saying, oh, but if you understand Latin, you'll understand what the Lord was actually saying. Even though the Lord clearly knew that people wouldn't understand Latin in the future. But he used Latin to confuse people. Yeah, wonderful, that's our God. He wants to confuse people. Of course he does, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you see the message that way, then what you're preaching is not truth. You're still reading from the Bible, but your interpretation isn't truth, right? That's the thing. Truth is only truth if you're not trying to interpret it. If you are not trying to interpret. If the Holy Spirit leads you and guides you, but even then you'll know when it's at. You'll know when it's at, and you'll know when it's based upon your education, because you know how you got it. You're thinking back to the things you were taught. That's based on education, surely. If you can't figure that one out, then for goodness sake, hang it up. Hang up your boots, basically, Yeah. Be a pure seeker of the truth. Pure seeker of the truth. Based upon purely what is true. Not based upon what you've been told is true, but based upon what is actually true. Be a seeker of that. I mean, to me, certainly, I've said before, but with regards to the direction of church now, if we're going to move forward in churches, you've got to have your prayer warriors. You've got to test them. You've got to make sure that these people are actually prayer warriors. Test them, use them. Yeah, they're the ones where you're going to actually make a difference. They're the ones that are going to help you to walk the path. They're the ones that are going to get you on that path. They're the ones that are going to be, you seek God. They're seeking God on your benefit as a church. They're seeking God for the leadership. You say you're thinking about that person as leader, they go to God and say, is that person the right person? If they come back saying no, well then no is the answer. You move on. The problem is there are a lot of churches that don't take any notice of the prayer warriors. They don't want to appoint them to their rightful position because they don't want to have to say no to them. But they've already made their mind up as to who they want, so therefore they're going to say no to them, aren't they? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. We've got to get things done. We've got to get them done right. But to be done right, you've got to have the right people. If you want to get the right people, you have to have the right people going to God about it. The people that have an ear for God, they are the right people to be going to God. Anyone else? No, sorry, no. And look, in prayer meetings, just because somebody prays a lot, it doesn't mean they have an ear for God. The person who doesn't pray a lot is probably the person you should be going to. So I'm going to give this as an example. Not the way it has to be. I'm not saying this person is a prayer warrior. I'm saying this is an example of someone who doesn't say anything. Right? In the church, the Elgin community church thingy, Church of God thing, in the prayer meetings and the Bible study, one of the people that basically stayed silent the whole time, just listened, Kylie. Kylie was quiet all the time. She listened. She wrote stuff down. But she hardly ever, I think, certainly the meetings that I was at, online ones, she never said a word. I think she occasionally gave a word as to what was going on in her life that she may have needed prayer for. That was it. That's the meeting where she said to pray for her mum because her mum doesn't like Christmas. That was it. That's the only thing I've ever heard her say in one of those meetings. Now, to be honest, should she have said that? No. The reason why she shouldn't have even said that is because she would have even have asked God. You know, had she been praying for that herself? Yes. Therefore, God heard her. Why didn't it need to be brought to the group? Is God deaf? I say, does God need 5 or 6 people to pray for the same thing before he hears? Is he an old man that's completely deaf? And there's 5 or 6 people are praying? No. Therefore, he heard you. You didn't need to bring it to the group anyway, but okay. The point I'm making is that she, generally speaking, is silent. You know, Richard was silent. Hardly ever did he say anything. He certainly, from what I saw, he was only in there, I think, 2 or 3 times. Yeah, in the meetings that I was in. Or the online ones that I was on. Yeah, before I started going to him, he was probably on them all, possibly, I don't know. He may have been speaking all the time, for all I know. But in those meetings, no, he didn't speak. He listened. And that's cool. That's good. That's what you want. It is, that's what you want of somebody. You want that to be the case. Anyway, next subject. When I was doing communion last night, I had done the bread bit, I got onto the wine bit, and because I've been doing this for nearly 2 weeks now, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow I've been doing this and trying to be led by God to honour the Lord in a different way every time. And so never quite going over the same things. Always trying to say something different. So last night I was really doing it more in a prayerful manner rather than how I'd done it previously. And I was speaking to God and saying, Lord, can you show me what the heart of everything is? Yeah, all of it. What's the heart of it? And as I continued to honour him concerning his sacrifice, the blood that was shed for us, I said, of course, the blood came out of your heart and it came out because of love. And then I'm like, oh, you idiot. I'm asking God what the heart of things are. Love, obviously. You moron. But that's the point. Sometimes we think it's some sort of mystical thing that is something which we haven't quite grabbed yet. The reason is because if we grabbed it, we would be far further along, wouldn't we? But something as simple as love is the key. That's basically the heart of everything is love. It's as simple as that, really. That's it. It really is as simple as that. How on earth are we not miles ahead of where we are right now? Yeah, one of the most basic principles in Scripture is to love. To love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind and soul, to love your neighbour, to love one another. If we can't even obey that, for goodness sake, Lord. Oh, Lord, come on. You said for many, yeah, are called but few are chosen. Lord, the ones that are called but not chosen, get them out. Get them out. Certainly get them out of leadership, for goodness sake. It seems that the people that are leading are the ones that are called but not chosen. We need the people that are chosen, don't we, really? Yeah. Yeah, we need the people that are chosen to rise up. To show that they're chosen. Yeah, but rise up in love. It's not about rising up in judgment. I mean, look, some of the videos I've done recently come across as judging that church. They will. I'm not judging them. I'm not condemning them. Not in any way, shape or form. I won't even condemn them if I see there's no necessary change. That's up to God to deal with that, isn't it, really? It's up to God to curse a church if he chooses to do so. Not up to me, not in any way, shape or form. No. That's the point. It's up to God to do what he wants to do. It's his church. If he wants his church to continue but dead, then it will continue but dead. I'm not going to curse it. No. I could do. As a son of God, of course I could do. I could look at that church the same way the Lord looked at that fig tree and say, you're not producing fruit, die. And speak that in the same authority as Father spoke, let there be light. And if I say die to that church, it will die. Yeah. The same as, for example, if you come across someone who's had a heart attack, right, and their heart has stopped. If you tell that heart to start, it has to start. You don't need to touch the person. If you command that heart to start, it has to start. If you command that heart to be healed, it will be healed and it will start. But if you've got someone who's picking on you, and you command that heart to stop of that person will drop to the floor, dead. Because you have the authority. If you can command an area of the body to be healed, which you can, you have the authority, certainly as a child of God, as a son or daughter of God, if you're walking in that, you have the authority. You have the same authority that the Lord had. So you can command that part of the body to be healed. If you can command a part of the body to be healed, you can command a part of the body to stop working. Because if you command that part of the body to be healed, you're taking authority over that part of the body. And that part of the body is listening to you and taking notice of you and obeying you by being healed. It's coming under your authority. So therefore, you can use your authority in different ways. You can use your authority to heal and to kill. You can do that with churches. You can do that with people. What are we supposed to do? What's the love answer? The love answer, generally speaking, is to heal. Now, sometimes it will be to kill. Sometimes it will be. Sometimes God will lead us to do that. Yeah, the Lord, generally speaking, went around healing, didn't he? And yet when he come across that tree, He killed it. It wasn't bearing fruit, so he commanded death upon that tree. Because it wasn't doing what it's supposed to do. Now, you have churches that are doing far worse than that tree. That tree wasn't bearing any fruit. You've got churches that are bearing bad fruit. Bearing bad fruit is far worse than bearing no fruit. If you're bearing no fruit, then people can't be poisoned off of your fruit. When you're bearing bad fruit, people can be poisoned off of your fruit. When churches are bearing bad fruit, that bad fruit is poisonous to the body. And what we see in churches right now is poisonous. It's bad fruit. So, what's the answer? Well, at the moment, there is no answer necessarily. The answer is, what's God telling you to do? Simple as that. Really. What is God telling you to do? Do that. It's as simple as that. Whatever God is telling you to do that. Because that's what God is telling you to do. Nice bit of area there. There's leaves from the church there. When I clean the leaves up from the church, I put them there. Well, they're rotting away nicely. They're going to feed all these trees, aren't they? So that's cool. Right. All the roots of the trees will get all the nutrients from those leaves. And whatever those leaves have got to offer as they rot away. Right. Look at the mushrooms are doing well, definitely. Alright. I imagine there's insects that must come and insects and creatures that must come and eat the mushrooms. Yeah, probably. That's the point. No, with regards to what to do about the church, what to do about people. Again, be led, be guided. Be led, be guided by God, and obey. Obey as He leads. Because quite often, put it this way. What I said during the communion yesterday, when talking about the body being broken, I was talking about the fact of, I asked the question to the Lord, when you were doing communion with your disciples, were you preparing mentally and emotionally and spiritually for what you're about to go through? Were you filling yourself with love, knowing that you were going to be abused in such horrendous ways by those soldiers and those Jewish people? Were you excited about the fact that those people that are going to be lying about you, to get you crucified, but those lies are still sin, even though they're the will of God, because they bring you to that point where you are crucified. Even though they're the will of God, they're still lies. The soldiers, what they're doing to you, again, that's supposed to happen, because then you take upon yourself our guilt, our shame, our pain. By your stripes we were healed. So all of that had to happen. But while they're doing it, you could easily decide, you've gone too far now, so I'm just going to call down angels to beat the crap out of you now. But instead, you focus on the fact that when you pay the price for sin, the sin of these people will be forgiven. So you were looking at them on that factor, on the point that they were basically right at the point where their sins would be forgiven. Every single sin they'd ever committed, including the ones they did to you, would be forgiven. The sin of betrayal by Judas Iscariot was forgiven. It would have been. But he committed a further sin by taking his own life. And that one couldn't be forgiven because he was successful. He didn't have a chance to repent of it, did he? Because it worked. And worked pretty quickly. So, yeah. And so in the video the other day, you could easily have told Judas Iscariot, leave. Instead of saying, whoever I give this bread to, you could have just said, Judas is the betrayer. Judas, go and leave now. You're not welcome. You're not part of our... You're not one of mine, clearly. You're bad. Just leave now. You didn't. Even at that point in time, you were still showing love to this man. But actually, you said that for another reason, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, clever. Clever. Yeah. See, when the Lord said about whoever I give this bread to is going to betray me, all the self was saying, it's not me, is it, Lord? 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 That probably would have included Peter. I imagine it would have included Peter. So Peter had a warning. That even someone who had walked so close to the Lord could betray him. And yet he still denied him 3 times. Aye. That's not me having a go at Peter. That's me talking about the fact of human nature, isn't it, really? Yeah, the Lord knew the weakness of Peter. The Lord knew that Peter wasn't quite who Peter claimed to be. That Peter had no depth at that point. He was childish. He had no depth of love. It was all very, very shallow. It was very much, a lot of it was for show with Peter. When it came to see, did he really love the Lord? Did he really love the Lord? No. He loved his life far more. But you know what? That's okay. Peter got broken after that. And once he got broken, he got healed. Once he got healed, he matured. I think the reason why this is now on my mind so much now, in videos now, why this keeps coming back to me, is because I think the church is in this period now, where the church needs to be broken. The church needs to come to this understanding of just how far away from God they've come. The church needs to come to an understanding that they were bowing down to the devil, that they were serving the devil, not serving God. They need to be broken. Church needs to come to a situation like Peter, of them being asked, do you love me? They need to be broken, then they need to be healed. They need to come to maturity. The quickest way for the church to be sorted is a conviction of sin. I think that's coming. I think that's coming upon the church. Yeah. I think that's what God was doing on Thursday. I do. I think on Thursday in that prayer meeting, when God wanted me to pray, he was speaking through me to convict the church. That's why they ended the meeting so abruptly. It could have gone on. Does it have to stop dead at 8 o'clock? No, it could have gone. Yeah. They stopped it on purpose. The pastor then made a point of telling me, okay, you have to find another church, aren't you? As in, you're not welcome here anymore. Why? Because of that prayer. Yeah. Well, that's why I say. That's why I said this morning. That's why I said in other meetings, other videos since then, that this meeting they got on Thursday is crucial, because the pastor and John and Siegfried and David and Bernadette and a few of the others from the church, they were there. They saw that. They heard that conviction of sin. They're going to go into that meeting on Thursday and they're going to decide how they move forward. They had 1 week for God to speak to them. Yeah, for God to speak to them about what was said. For them to seek God on that. 1 week. Plenty of time for God to speak to them. Plenty of time. Yeah. Thursday. Monday today, so it's only a few days. Aye. But on Thursday, this is when the decision for the life of this church is made. Yeah. So if it was up to me, I would say, as I said before, Manuel, Bethany, your children, take a month off. A month. Don't do anything at all. Church-wise. Don't do anything. Yeah. Plan that to you take the month off from Saturday. But until then, speak to John, speak to Bernadette, about what the duties are, about, what you need to do, that sort of stuff, what needs to be covered over the next month. They are kept up to form. Know what to do, sort of thing. Certainly the admin side of it and the what needs to be done for events and whatever. But then on Saturday, you go 1 month. You take that 1 month off. You just relax. You just relax with God. Get right with God. Make sure everything is right with God, with you, as a couple, as individuals. And then come back. After that month, we'll have another meeting. We'll have another church meeting where all of us will gather on the Thursday. Same as we did in 3 days' time. I'd say we'll gather again in a month's time. We'll come together. Because in that month, it's up to every single individual in the church to also get right with God. Spend time seeking God. What does God want for the church? What does God want to do? That's the thing. We're going to get away from what we want. We've got to focus on what does God want. And do that. Simple. Just do that. It's what God wants, so just do that. Yeah. There you go. I'm going to leave it to it. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.